Good morning. Yes, you're in the bed with me. I'm waking up. Yeah, just woke up. Thought I'd do a little day in the life video. We're actually going to be moving out of our tents, which we've been in here for almost 5 months, and are getting sick of the crazy weather. And Heidi's having trouble working, and the heat is coming, and we've already experienced a few 35 plus days. So yeah, I think we need another option. So we're going to be getting another trailer, and it should be coming in the next week or so, and then we'll be outfitting it just temporarily to stay in while we build in the other trailer. So anyways, that's just the reason for this video. Kind of inspired me to showcase what life has been like in the tent, for my own memories and for your interest as well. I can hear the kettle boiling, so let's go have some tea. And we at one point we had installed this cooktop, which actually is the cooktop that will be going into our final tiny house. So we've had a few kind of luxuries that you might not find in a normal tent, which is probably the case with the entire kitchen, because we've got, like, you know, hot and cold running water and, you know, good prep area, place for storage. We've got a fridge outside, which I'll show you in the shed. And so yeah, that part of it hasn't been too uncomfortable. So let's make some tea. So while my tea is doing its thing, I'll show some of the features of our bedroom to start with. We'll see here that a typical part of our experience here has been the cold. So we have a bed that features flannel sheets, a duvet, another duvet, and a blanket on top as our protection from the cold. I'm also wearing cold weather clothes. Often wore this this hoodie to bed with the hood up, and my beanie on sometimes when it got really cold, and that was comfortable. That was all right. But yeah, I mean, now that we're moving into the warm season, it's probably going to be the opposite. It's probably going to get actually really uncomfortable in here, and it was quite comfortable sleeping in the tent with, you know, like the cold, because, you know, we did have our little heater here, and this heater was an absolute lifesaver. We obviously wouldn't run it at night for fear of suffocation, I guess it is. They all have warnings slapped all over the thing. Don't use it in a tent, don't use it in a tent, you know, and we've been using it for months in a tent, and it's fine if you do the right thing. You know, you have a little bit of airflow and stuff like that. So, you know, it kept us warm, and it's been brilliant. Another thing that has all these little hacks that you do when you're here, and you'll see that we put our cushions along the back edge here of the tent, and that's like for days like what we've had the last couple of days, which is kind of typical of a day in the life kind of video, because it's windy all the time here, and when the wind comes, it just slams against the back side of the tent, and these pillows are offering us a bit of a buffer from the kind of billowing and the slapping sound that bangs against your head when you're trying to sleep. So that's always fun. So Heidi's not here right now because, well, that's why I'm doing this video, because she wouldn't consent to me videoing first thing in the morning. You know, she's not been beautified yet. But she would be my tea maker. She's very, very kind, and always makes her coffee and tea while I'm still usually laying in the bed. But yeah, once I do have my tea, often we'll step outside and sit in our sunny tea drinking location. As you also see, we have different types of footwear. We've got our indoor footwear here, and when we're ready to go outside, then we don something for the out of doors, which keeps our tent clean. And yeah, there's a lot of sand outside, so yeah, it just keeps it from getting tracked in and out. So this morning's view for our tea drinking session is a little bit unusual in that it's been windy for like 2 straight days here, and when it gets really, really windy, we just have to pack down our tent. So that's what we've done. So I don't have a view of our nice little bell tent like I normally do. All right, so I've got myself changed for the working day. I'll be heading up to the trailer, the tiny house, pretty soon to do some stuff. But there's always stuff to do around here first. I gotta do a bunch of chores, gotta have my breakfast, and then I can get on with my day. So anyways, you can see around here, this is the, got a little clothes rack, and we've got shelves of stuff for her clothes. So that's pretty much everything we have in terms of clothes, just resides in this little room here. We've got backups of stuff in the shed, like I've just gotten rid of a lot of my winter clothes in there and exchanged them for summer clothes and so on. When we get into the new trailer, the temporary trailer, we'll have a bit more space, which will be good. With tent life, is it's a bit dirty. You bring a lot of stuff in, it's hard to keep the place clean. You can see the floor has got, like, the ants get in now this time of year. Like the state of the floor, that's like literally just a day's worth of stuff. We're sweeping like all the time. The water from the tap is bore water, so we use our little ceramic water container to filter out the water and give us fresh drinking water. We also gave track of the weather conditions outside. So obviously we know, like, if it's going to be particularly hot, or if it is particularly hot, then we can open up the tent in a different way or keep an eye on what the shed is doing and so on, which I'll show you now. All right, so let's go down and I'll show you where the fridge is. It's just back here in the shed. Now the shed is enshrouded in shade cloth at the moment because we have to keep it cool to keep the fridge cool. There's our solar setup. So everything's humming along at the moment. It's a little bit low because I don't have the panels fully up. But the fridge runs off of this system. So we've got the full fridge, full working fridge and freezer. And that's that's obviously been great because we actually lived here for about 2 months without any proper refrigeration, and obviously in the winter was fine because it was quite cold, and actually during the day even it was cool enough that we didn't have to worry about it, and then at night it was like almost near freezing, so generally that was fine. But it's nice to have that controlled cooling now, so we can plan ahead. And with the summer heat, we've had a couple of 39 days, and the temperature gets around the same temp within the shed. And so it's it's running very warm, but everything seems to be doing its job, so that's great. Also in the shed is our just general kind of extra storage stuff. And most of my tools and so on have actually made their way back up to the work site. So that cleared a bit of space up in the shed, which was nice. Back here we have our different supplies that I built early on. So I've got a hot water heater that's plumbed into the back of the tent. You can also see the exit pipe for our drainage from the sink. Here's our pump, and the pump supplies everything from our little tap here, which the bees seem to love these days, to our bathroom. Has a little sink in it, and obviously there's our water supply there. And probably like one of the best purchases I made, it's the fly catcher. For some reason the flies love this green juice, which is like a non-toxic kind of environmentally friendly stuff, but they flock to it. And I have to change that thing when it's warm every like couple of days, which is crazy. And behind the shed here we've got our composting bins. So that's keeping all of our food scraps and things that we empty out of the toilet. So here is our little composting toilet system. I've got a spare bucket right here. And then behind there is the bucket that's being filled at the moment. I just swap them over when it needs to be changed, and yeah, it seems to work really well. We probably only have to change it every week and a half, 2 weeks, depending on how many people are here. So here's our toilet here. It's just in a shed, an old garden shed. And yeah, I've got a very simple little sink that I've rigged up to wash your hands afterwards. It's actually surprisingly good, even in the heat of the hottest days we've had so far. Yeah, it actually does a really good job at keeping smell to a minimum. We've got different types of stuff we use. We have the sawdust for liquids, and kind of a natural soft material that we find under the trees here for our solids. And then I've also bought this Nature's Flush Enzymes, which is quite good because it's a non-water based cleanser. So you can actually spray it on to keep things clean, but it actually helps with the breakdown of the material as well in the toilet. So that's quite good too. I also put it in a little skylight in here for natural light, and then we've got one of these cheap Bunnings kind of LED lights, which works really well, which just works really well at night. So there you have it. And if you're wondering why the toilet is kind of raised up on a bit of a plinth like it is, and if you do know anything about composting toilets, we just chose that we prefer not to have the bucket right there, so close. Some people have the like kind of the raised seat like what we do, but just a bucket right under that you basically do your business into. I wanted to produce sort of a semi-long drop kind of idea, so you had a bit of separation from the material, and it works really well because it's a black interior, and the buckets are dark, so you kind of don't see down into the hole as much, and you're not as closely acquainted with your business. When it's not windy, then I'll put the solar panels up and put them and position them into place. The solar panels are on a turntable, so I can sort of swivel them around facing the orientation of the sun as it changes through the day, and also the tilt based on the position of the sun. In terms of the solar kind of stuff, if you're interested quickly in the specs, it's just a 1 kilowatt system. It's 24 volts. Here's our batteries behind, and yeah, we have a 1 kilowatt inverter. And yeah, once I had done everything with proper switches and stuff like that, it worked really well. I can isolate pretty much anything in the system. That's our 24 volt stuff that we have connected directly from the battery. So yeah, basically it can power our 4.5 star fridge, which was a big thing to get, an inverter fridge, so that kept power consumption as minimal as possible. So obviously it's quite a sunny place here, as you can see. And so yeah, consumption during the day is pretty much no problem at all. We get plenty of sun to power everything, our devices. We can plug stuff in and run all that during the day and still get adequate charge to the batteries at night. And generally, yeah, even like on a day like today when it's like flat on its back, we'll still get a pretty strong charge overnight. But if we do have some cloudy days or whatever, then that obviously it'll impact our longer term battery storage. But yeah, it's been pretty good. I've got like a 200 watt kind of stereo system speakers there that we've run, and lights at night, and yeah, pretty much can live sort of on a nominal kind of level. Obviously we can't run things like food processors and toasters and coffee makers and like hot water kettles and stuff like that, or electric kettles rather. So but other than that, like we're doing pretty well on a 1 kilowatt system. So when we do scale up for the trailer eventually, if we do go off grid completely, then yeah, we've got a good idea of what our consumption is anyways. So tenant living features all the little things. It's little things that accumulate that can be a little bit annoying. I've mentioned the floor, the dirty floor, tracking sand and stuff all over the place. But there's the other thing, which is that if you want to keep this place cool or free of bugs or whatever, inside you go, and then zip it back up, and then, oh, I forgot something outside, zip it back up, back outside, zip it back closed, and repeat ad infinitum. It's when you have two tents and you both want to keep them closed and keep bugs out, or keep the cold out and the warm in, or whatever it is, it can get a little bit annoying, particularly since the fridge is over there. And if you forget something, you just zip down, you're like, oh, I gotta zip it up, I gotta go out, zip it closed, walk out into the shed, open the shed door, open the fridge door, get whatever you need, and then repeat the whole process back again. And then sometimes we finish our meal and we have to unzip this tent while holding hot food to bring it over to the other tent. And then somebody has to be queued up on that tent to unzip it, so that if you don't have to put everything down. And then all of that has to be zip closed. And then of course, if you forget something in the kitchen, then you have to come back and unzip, zip, 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 zip. That's a lot of that. Yeah, but I've given the kitchen a clean, as you can see. Bit of visual proof that I do dishes, just in case anybody didn't believe that I do dishes, or Heidi didn't believe me maybe. I do dishes. And even swept and wiped down the floor. So this is looking about as good as it gets, probably for the next 10 minutes or so. Perfect. Just to finish the kitchen tour, we've got our little plastic drawers here, which have been perfect. We just have those all fit in perfectly with this little design. Different things, keep all our plates and cups and all that. Here I designed this specifically for our stuff, so it all fits in nicely. A little wine, bit of wine glasses, the recipe books. And then on this side we have our gas, which has a splitter which feeds our heater, and then the gas cooktop. And then, yeah, all of our pots and pans and stuff like that we keep down here. Ooh, hello. That was a bit of a surprise. I didn't expect to see this little guy here on my boot. And therein lies a lesson to check the inside of your boots before you put them on. All right, let's bring our laundry up to the laundry/shower shed, and I can show you where we will do both of those things on a regular basis. It's just about a 1-minute walk up here. In the mornings, though I got up a bit late this morning, there's usually like dozens and dozens of different bird calls, and you know, there's any chance that we'll see a snake, not that we want to see too many of them, or a sleepy lizard, or kangaroos, hares, lots of different things to see. And there's our future home. Looks like just a regular old truck for the moment, but in about 2 weeks, if you stay tuned, there'll be a video on the installation of the windows and doors, and that'll really change the look of this thing and towards a bit more of a house. It'll be very cool. All right, so here we go. Here's our little shed. So we've got a couple of washing machines in here. One's Rob's and that's ours, which isn't being used at the moment. And then we've got a little impromptu shower kind of area with gas hot water and so on, which is very basic but does the job. And then over in this corner, we're soon to get a proper shower stall when Peter can get to it. Yeah, so, but for the time being, does the job. Nothing flash. It was a bit cold in here during the depths of winter, taking a shower in like near 0 degrees, because it's like the same temperature in the shed. But, you know, can't complain. We got hot water, we got a facility to wash our clothes, so it's everything we need. All right, here's our work site. There's a few things going here. A few pans all at the same time, and this is our baby. So yeah, looking like a proper work zone, and yeah, it's starting to happen. It's looking a little bit more like there's a bit of activity here. Obviously I'll get into the details of where I'm at and what I'm doing and stuff like that in a separate video, but this is where I spend, you know, the better part of most days, doing a bit of research over here at my little computer station, or you know, doing my building and stuff like that. So yeah, things are starting to happen. I'm getting bits and pieces done. I've got the ceiling panels coming in and stuff like that, and you know, like as soon as there's like doors and windows and a bit of this electrical and downlights and so on that I've got an order put in, you know, probably within the next month this was going to look dramatically different. So that's pretty exciting to see a bit of progress kind of jumping ahead. So anyways, cover that in another video. I should probably get to work, and yeah, we'll continue the day in the life of us tent dwellers in a little while after I've done a bit of stuff. All right, well, as you can see, the sun is starting to descend, and it's time to knock off for the day. Got my clean laundry with me, and it's a bit of a mixed bag of a day kind of thing in terms of work, but that's the way it goes sometimes. But yeah, it's about 6 o'clock now. Days are getting longer, which is nice. And let's head home for a bite to eat and a post-work bevy. Well, if it was a bit warmer on a day like today, normally we'd get back and Heidi and I would kind of knock off about the same time, and we'd enjoy a bit of sunset beverage, maybe down on our little seating area over here. Yeah, it's a little bit chilly today though, so maybe we'll do that. I'll get a bit of our evening chores done and get ready for dinner and see if we can't catch the sunset before the sun goes down. So usually I'll just head over before the end of the day and check out make sure that everything's looking all right in terms of a bit of storage voltage on our battery, and make sure that's looking good. So it gives me a good idea in terms of like whether I have to be cautious tonight or not. And then into the fridge we go to grab some of tonight's dinner stuff. Have a bit of a plowman's lunch and some snacks. Keep a little plastic tub over here for as a bit of a caddy between the different areas of our house, just so I'm not carrying a big cluster of stuff in my arms. And that looks like it should do. Alright, so I've slipped into something a little more comfortable, that being my Trekkie decks and basically sleepwear. Why not? Who am I trying to impress out here? Nobody. So I made myself sort of a Mediterranean plowman's lunch kind of idea for dinner. Yeah, didn't have, I actually worked through lunch today, so having a bit of a big dinner, and yeah, I'll shower and chill out for a little while. So it's all exciting here in the tent life. Let's go have a look at the sunset. It's always a nice pastime around here when you have a beverage and you can watch the sun go down over the hills. despite all the wind and all the frustrating elements of living in a tent, there is obviously perks being in nature and being able to experience beautiful sunrises and sunsets and animals and birds around, and a community of people that are enjoyable to be with, and so there's obviously a lot of positives. It's the physical day-to-day stuff of living in a tent is definitely like a challenge, but it hasn't been an arduous experience all around, but we're just gonna continue getting the good stuff and just dispense with some of the bad stuff when we move into the other trailer, hopefully. So we'll see. Time to hang out. Just doing a bit of doodling on my iPad to kind of prepare for our new trailer. Do a little plan, make sure everything fits nicely. Having a cuppa. So this is what it looks like in our evening kind of vibe, which is kind of nice. It's got these nice two decent solar-powered LEDs, and it gives kind of a nice homey feeling in here. It's not too bad tonight, and the canvas tent actually sort of naturally has like a kind of a bit of thickness and heaviness to it, which is kind of nice. So it actually keeps the place kind of, keeps the cool out a little bit, keeps the warm in a little bit, which is good. The only problem with the bulbs, unfortunately, is because we are literally the only light source for probably, like a half a kilometer radius. And when it's warm, the bugs are here in droves. Like when it was 39 degrees the other day, this place was coated in insects, and we literally had to put the lights, like light bulbs, outside the tent, and then just use the kind of light seeping through the tent to kind of do what we needed to do in here, and just turn on our phones when we needed to do. And outside, the bugs were just like literally coating the lights, so it was quite full on and disgusting. And we're a bit worried because this coming week is going to be all mid 30s kind of thing. So we're going to be literally fighting off the bugs. So got to get into that new trailer as fast as possible. I think I've said that a few times, haven't I? Yeah. All right. Well, that's the tour for you. That's a wrap on that one. I'm gonna hit the sack, hit the hay, go to the land of Nod. I don't know what I'm saying. Just gonna go to sleep. So, anyways, I'm glad you could join me on my little tour. Hope it wasn't too boring, but it gives you a little bit of insight to the exciting life of living in a tent, as we have been doing for the last 5 months, if you could believe it. That's crazy. I don't think I'll ever probably live in a tent this long again. It's been interesting. You can see that there's some challenges, some ups, some downs, not all bad, but we'll probably be happy getting out of here when the heat starts to kick in and the snakes start to arrive and the bugs are coming en masse, and that will probably be perfect transition from this winter experience to the summer one. Anyways, I'm going to sleep now, and be sure to join us for further adventures with the actual tiny house build, and be posting more of that stuff really soon, plus the arrival of our new pan and the tiny and the temporary tiny house that we're going to build out of that. So stay tuned, stick around, and thank you, and good night.